I remember this girl looks at me and says, well, Bubba, I'm gonna put it in you now. Wait, what? And at that moment, I knew I had to get myself out of there as quick as possible. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another really embarrassing story. So this story all takes place back in my high school year, and this was actually my grade 12 year. Now, in grade 12, I won't lie to you, I had a lot of stress coming on to me because of graduation that was happening. But on top of that, turning 18 was not easy, because when you turn 18, life starts to look differently around you, and you start realizing that you're basically becoming an adult. And it's scary because, well, what are you supposed to do as an adult? You're supposed to get your career in line. Everyone's getting ready for more school that they have to deal with after high school, and life just does not seem like it's gonna get easier. But I remember a couple months before graduation, obviously my main goal was to basically make many memories before high school ended. And honestly, I wasn't the only one that thought this way, because apparently a lot of people in my school also wanted to make memories to basically last forever and they can always look back on. So knowing this, I remember basically one time I was walking down my school hallway, and I remember I ended up seeing a girl walk up to me. She walked up to me and she was one of those really emo girls that, I'm not gonna lie, I was never really into growing up, but at the same time, she was still somewhat cute. Like, she had a cute face, I guess we could say. And I remember she looks at me and says, hey, so I don't know if you heard, but I'm hosting a party, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really popular, so I was wondering, could you help me invite people? Yeah, I mean, I could, but why do you want my help? Well, like, I don't know, you know a lot of girls apparently, and like, I feel like you're just the perfect person to help. Which at this moment, she was not wrong, because I'm gonna be real with you guys, I was really popular throughout high school since I did a lot of the Devil's Tango. So not only did a lot of girls know me, but also a lot of guys knew me for being the ultimate player. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of them did hate me, but at the same time, that's only because I ended up doing their girlfriends. But going on with the story, I remember basically, I ended up agreeing to help this girl out, and well, one thing led to another. I ended up spreading it amongst the entire school. If there was one thing I was really good at doing, was spreading a rumor. And I remember I went person to person to everyone in the school, and I basically ended up even posting it on my social media accounts where the party was and the address. Obviously, a lot of people were DMing me asking me if they could bring booze and, you know, a bunch of different things, but to be honest, I always ended up sending those people that had questions straight to the person that was actually hosting the party. That way it came straight out of their mouths and not mine, because I don't want to get in trouble at the end of the day since it wasn't my house. But going on, as I was spreading the rumor, I remember there was one girl, she was actually a cheerleader, that walked up to me later on in the school day after she heard about this rumor. And she walked up to me saying, hey, Bubba, so like, everyone's telling me you're hosting a party. Oh no, I'm not hosting a party, but I mean, I'm helping someone host a party. Why? What's going on? Oh, well, like, I was wondering, like, do you have like a date to go to the party? Now, when she asked me this, I was kind of surprised, because this girl, me and her, we had some pretty bad experiences. If you guys have ever seen the story Me and the Cheerleader, you would understand what I'm talking about. But I remember she basically ended up saying this to me, and I was kind of in shock, because one, the party wasn't that kind of party where you would bring a date to, but also on top of that, why is she asking me out? I really did not know what to say, so I ended up saying, oh yeah, I mean, I could pick you up and take you to the party, I guess. Okay, sweet. And then after, do you want to like maybe like come back to my place after the party? Yeah, sure. Okay, sounds like a plan. And she walked away. Now, I didn't know why she wanted me to go back to her place after, but honestly, I wasn't gonna complain, because like I said, throughout high school, I was a major player, so doing the Devil's Tango at any moment for me was considered a plus. I remember after 2 days went by, everyone in the school was all talking about this party. I did my job, and the emo chick that walked up to me earlier also was really happy that, you know, I managed to do the job really well. It even got to a point where randomly she ended up kissing me in the middle of the hallway as like a thank you. I don't really know what that was, but I'm happy no one saw, because me kissing an emo chick wasn't really something I wanted to be known for in my grade 12 year. But that aside, I remember basically that night of the party, I got home, I got dressed, I got ready, I put on my best dress shirt, got my Air Force Ones on, and I ended up wearing my skinny jeans. Don't ask why. Skinny jeans were cool back then. I know they're now not, but you know, I still sometimes rep skinny jeans. But going on with the story, I got inside my car, and when I drove to this girl's house to pick her up, the cheerleader, I ended up parking my car at the front, and I waited for her. When I waited for her, I ended up seeing her upstairs in her bedroom window getting ready, and when she saw me outside, she ended up coming downstairs, and she ended up hopping into my car, and instantly at that moment, I'm not gonna lie, she was in the mood. Like, she was in the mood. I don't know why she was in the mood. I really did not know how to question it whatsoever, but if I'm being honest with you, what we did next was kind of crazy, because we ended up doing the Devil's Tango in my car in front of the house where the party was before we even went in. We ended up going inside the party like an hour later, and when we got to the party, I remember a lot of people were excited to see me. It was really fun. We had a great time, but it got to the point where things got really out of control, and cops did come and shut down the party, which, to be fair, we were being really loud and being pretty obnoxious, to the point where we had kids even jumping off the balcony. Like, it was really a bad idea, but at the same time, time. She said she wanted a big party, and the next day she wasn't really complaining about it either. But before we get on to the next day, what happened after the cops came was mind-blowing, because I remember when I heard cops were coming, I ended up getting straight to my car with the cheerleader, and me and her, we ended up getting inside my vehicle and driving away as fast as we could. We didn't want to get spotted at all, and nor did I want them taking my license plate down, because I didn't want to get in trouble. And honestly, the thrill that me and this cheerleader had driving away and getting out of there as soon as possible was definitely one of the greatest memories of me back in high school, because the adrenaline rush was just amazing. I remember when we finally lost the cops, me and this girl, we ended up sitting beside each other in the car and just waiting for a bit so, you know, the cops could drive away so I can turn back the other way to get home. And as we were sitting in the car waiting, I remember she looks at me and says, so like, you usually do stuff like that? Like, you know, crazy and like wild? I mean, yeah, I guess sometimes I do. I don't really know. My life's not really that interesting. Oh, well, it seems like it really was, to be honest. All the stories I heard about you and like all the girls you've done, like you've really like gone yourself out there. Yeah, I guess you could say I had a pretty cool high school experience, I guess. I don't really know. Yeah, so I was wondering, like, do you want to like head back to my place? I kind of want to try something with you since you're so risky. At this moment, I didn't know what this girl was talking about, nor was I even thinking twice about it, because I'm gonna be for real with you, I was still coming down from the adrenaline rush. So I ended up driving straight to her place right after she said that. And when we got to her place, I remember me and her, we went inside her bedroom and we did do the devil's tango. But partway through, she stops me and says, hey, Bubba, I was wondering, can you like maybe just like, you know, let me try something on you? Wait, what? What do you want to try? And at that moment, she ends up going to her drawer that was beside her nightstand, and she opens it and pulls out something that she ended up putting onto herself. And before I say what it is, I don't want to get in trouble on the internet for monetization reasons, so you guys could take a guess. It was an eggplant, and basically she wanted to put it inside me. At this moment, I looked at her and I'm like, whoa, 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 okay, whoa, I'm not like that, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Why, Bubba? You said you were risky. As she starts walking towards me, I remember at that moment, I'm like, listen, like, whoa, like, I'm really not in the mood to do this. I think I'm just gonna head home. I had a really fun night. She ends up getting really upset at me and starts actually yelling at me, to the point where she actually ends up throwing her toy eggplant at me that she wanted to put inside me, which is really weird to say, but going on. And at that moment, I start freaking out saying, whoa, 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 okay, you know what? I'm sorry, I gotta go. And I got inside my car and I drove away. When I drove away, I remember I ended up calling my friends, telling them what happened, and they all couldn't stop laughing at me. And even one of my friends ended up saying that for that girl, he would have done it, which is super cringe, by the way. You know who you are if you're watching this video. But going on with the story, I remember the next day, I ended up going to school, and I remember this girl ends up walking up to me, the cheerleader, and she says, oh, like, I just want to say, like, I'm so sorry about yesterday. I got really in the mood, and I just wanted to try something. I'm sorry. Can we please never talk about it and keep it a secret? I mean, you know what? Yeah, we can try, but you never gotta do that again. You understand? Like, not with anyone. I won't. I promise, is what she told me. And then right after that, it was super funny because the emo girl that hosted the party came up to me afterwards, and she ended up actually, you know, freaking out and thanking me. And, you know, even though the cops ended up busting her and going to her house and, you know, actually she got a huge fine, she still said she made a giant memory of her grade 12 year. So she definitely got a good memory compared to me, because, well, I guess my memory for that party was someone trying to put it in me. I remember this girl walked up to me and she told me, hey, Bubba, I was wondering, do you want to like maybe go on a date? A date? Isn't that like a type of food? No, it's like when me and you like get to like hang out. Wait, so why not just hang out? Because I want to do it romantically. Wait, so you want to romantically hang out? Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. Now, as you guys may know on this channel, if you guys are regular watchers, I've been on many different dates, and I've been with many different types of women. One, because I was a major player, but also on top of that, I just really had no standards. And one thing's for sure, this story that I'm about to tell you guys is where it basically all began. My first date ever. And the way the story starts off was me back in grade 6. Now, back when I was in grade 6, I was a very innocent kid. Like, the only things I would do is play Pokemon, Call of Duty, hop on my Xbox, and kind of just be to myself. I was a big fan of Batman, still am to this day, and honestly, the only things like I really understood about women was basically little to nothing other than what my mother has told me. But I remember there was one time back in my grade 6 year, and this was like literally like the first week of grade 6, where I entered into middle school, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect me to basically be attracted to women. No, I'm not saying that I was, you know, part of the LGBTQ community, but in a way, like, I just never thought about, you know, being with a girl or doing anything with them. The only things I cared about at the time was just me, myself, and I. So I remember when I entered into middle school for my first grade 6 year, I remember I was walking down the school hallway and I saw some of my friends from elementary school. Now, these friends I haven't seen all summer at the time, and I remember I ended up walking up to them saying, oh, hey guys, what you guys all up to? Oh, hey Bubba, we're just all hanging out, man. We're gonna go outside outside and like just chill, maybe like, you know, scout some baddies. Do you want to come out and join us? Scout some baddies? What are we playing? Cops and robbers? At this moment, as you can clearly tell, I was really still innocent, but these guys apparently throughout the summer ended up hitting puberty way faster than I did, and well, decided to be more, I guess, in the naughty side of things. I remember when I said cops and robbers though, they all ended up starting to laugh at me, and they realized that I haven't grown up, to the point where one of them ended up walking up to me, putting his hand on my shoulder and saying, "Oh, Bubba, you still haven't grown up, have you, bro?" All right, boys, let's get out of here. And they all went to go look for some baddies, I guess. I don't know. At the time, I guess they ended up changing for the worse, and I realized that I maybe need to get new friends. So I remember walking around my middle school, and I ended up finding a group of people that were basically addicted to their 3DSs. If you guys don't know, the 3DS just came out at this time, and I remember I ended up sitting with them and playing Super Smash Brothers with them. This was the only type of smashing I would do back in middle school until I reached high school, but you guys already know about me doing the Devil's Tango. But I remember as I was sitting there playing on my 3DS, there was one girl, a part of that like group of people that were playing on their 3DS consoles, that were all just sitting down on this bench, and I remember she saw me pull up with my 3DS, and I had a Super Mario limited edition one, and she looked at me saying, "Oh my goodness, is that like a rare 3DS? How'd you get that?" "Oh yeah, my mom got it for me." "Oh cool, do you want to play together?" "Yeah, of course." I remember me and her, we ended up sitting beside each other, and I remember all the people that would like play with us ended up basically coupling us as a group. They kept saying things like Bubba and this girl kissing in a tree, K-I-S-S-I, and you guys know the song. Like they would basically kind of ship us, and it was really, really weird. Obviously, me and First decided to just ignore it and pretend it didn't exist. But this was middle school, and middle school, you end up getting a lot of things, I guess, peer pressured onto you. So I remember, I want to say like 2 weeks went by, and I started to realize that slowly, she would always come later than usual. Until one day, I saw she was like half an hour late for a game session, and I was like really annoyed. And when she finally came, I said to her, "Hey, what happened? Like I thought you were gonna show up earlier." "Sorry, I'm like hanging out like with this new group of friends, and like I don't know, they're being really weird." "Why? What are they saying?" "Well, they're saying like me and you should like, you know, become a thing." "Become a thing?" "Yeah, like, you know, become boyfriend and girlfriend." "What? Why would we do that? We're not trying to get married." Now you gotta understand, the reason I said that was because back then when I was younger, my parents would raise me to basically only date if you were going to marry the girl, which to be fair, I honestly love that idea, and I wish that still existed to this time and age. But let's be real here, boys, it's not real. Okay, there's no such thing as dating to marry. There's dating to, you know, do the Devil's Tango. But obviously we're not going to talk about that because this is so long ago. But going on with the story, I remember I started to realize that over the days of basically me and her hanging out, a lot of the time she would always like, you know, hang out with this group of girls and then hang out with me right after. Until one day I decided to like walk past them in the hallway, and one of the girls ended up pointing me out while she was in the group with them, saying, "Hey Bubba, why don't you like actually like, you know, like get your girlfriend over here?" "What? We're not getting married." "Aw, he's already thinking about marriage, guys." Now the girl that said this was in grade 8, and she was a lot older than me and, you know, the girl I was playing my 3DS with at the time. But I remember it got really weird to the point where I remember after school that day specifically, I remember I was walking home from school, and she ended up running up behind me, the girl that I would play, you know, my 3DS with. And she ran up to me saying, "Hey Bubba, I wanted to ask you something." Yeah, sure, what's up?" "Well, like I was wondering, like can me and you like maybe like go on a date?" "Wait, what do you mean you want to go on a date?" "Yeah, like, you know, like me and you like hang out, just us." "Oh, well, I mean, we do that a lot already." "Yeah, no, I know that, but like me and you go on a like a hangout romantically." Now at this moment, I started to realize that she was asking me for a date, but at the time where this video takes place, I thought the date was like the type of plant that's like a sweet plant that you usually eat with like tea or something. I didn't know what like an actual like romantic date was. And that's when I told her, "Oh, well, I don't know, it's my first time actually like going on a date." At this moment, her eyes ended up opening wide, and she told me that it was hers as well. And that's when me and her, we ended up planning an actual date. And boy, was this the most weirdest thing ever, because what ended up happening next, I gotta say, made me not want to go on another one. Because I remember the next day after school, we ended up planning our date at that time, and me and her, we ended up meeting up in front of the school, and all the girls that she was friends with were watching me and her walk away from the school. And she looks at me saying, "Bubba, hold my hand." "What? Why do you want me to hold your hand? We're just walking." "Hold my hand." And at this moment, I ended up grabbing her hand, and me and her were walking away. All of them said, "Ooh, like they're actually dating," and making it a way bigger deal than it actually was. But I remember as me and her went around the corner and no one saw us, I ended up letting go of her hand, and I looked at her saying, "Okay, well, what's next on this date?" I don't know. Do you want to go get food?" I had lunch at lunchtime." "No, like, let's go get like actual food." "Okay." And what me and her actually ended up doing was we ended up going to this field that had like, I guess like a berry bush in the far corner, and me and her walked up to it together and we started eating the berries that were being grown there. I guess in a way it was kind of cute what we were doing, but in my mind, it was just us hanging out romantically until she decided to do something that kind of made me feel weird. Because after we finished eating berries at the bush, out of nowhere, we ended up basically sitting on this log together, and she looks over at me and says, Bubba, to make this date complete, I need you to do something for me. Yeah, sure. What am I doing? Well, you need to kiss me. I need to what? Now, at this moment, I never kissed a girl, okay? I never have done it at this time, and I was a very innocent person. But I remember she decided to basically just like close her eyes and lean towards me. And yeah, I think that was when I actually like, you know, decided to just be like, whatever. I ended up kissing her, and I will say this, it was really awkward because out of nowhere, all the guys that I was friends with that went to go search for baddies way earlier in the story ended up jumping around the corner with the girls that the chick I was with was friends with as well, hopped around the corner, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was the most embarrassing thing ever. At this moment, I realized that going on dates at a super young age was not worth it, and it made me realize that it's just embarrassing. To be honest, I had more fun playing Lego Batman. But hey, honestly, tell me how old you guys were when you guys went on your first date, and on top of that, what would you guys do on your first date? Would you guys go to a berry bush like I did? If not, then just fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. All right, so the story I'm telling you guys today is something that happens often in high school that is very common for some reason, and I don't know why girls decide to do this, and sometimes even guys, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's ultimately disgusting. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, make sure you guys do join the Discord server down below, because seriously, I have a Discord server and I love communicating with you guys and you guys telling me your guys' crazy stories. And who knows, maybe one day I'll start telling your guys' crazy stories on the channel. Anyways, let's get straight into this. What is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this story takes place back when I was in high school, and I believe this was my grade 10 year. And in my grade 10 year, I was already pretty well known in high school for being like the ultimate devil's tango person. Like, no joke, if a girl wanted to get absolutely destroyed, they would hit me up and basically go to me. But me, I started being selective with the girls I started to go doing the devil's tango with, because let's just say it got really gross knowing that, like, for example, my friend would do a girl and then instantly they would come to me because they knew that I was more attractive and well better than them. I don't know, it was pretty awkward. So knowing that, I kind of like became more selective of what girls I would choose to come up to me. But I remember there was this one girl that was in my school that was the most disgusting girl ever. And by disgusting, I don't mean she was ugly or she smelled bad. I mean she was a legit homie hopper. I remember hearing throughout the whole entire school that she would jump from friend group to friend group, and it just became absolutely disgusting. So I remember one time when me and my friend group were all together, the girl ended up walking up to us, and there was one guy in our friend group that was super nervous. But me, I looked at her and I knew instantly that she was gonna try to come up to me because she wanted to do the devil's tango with me. So when she came up to me, she looked at me and she's like, hey Bubba, like I was just like wondering, like, do you want to like maybe like hang out sometime? Like seriously. I instantly told her off and I told her no because I was not interested, and basically she would always bug me and try to like annoy me and stuff, and she kept trying to get my snap, but it got to the point where I totally just ignored her. She got pissed off with me, so I remember throughout the day she basically ignored me for the rest of the day as well. Me knowing that I basically told her off was pretty good to my mind. But then out of nowhere, I remember I got an ad on Snapchat and it was from that girl that was a homie hopper. I ended up getting so confused on how she added me until I saw my friend talking to her down the hallway, and I instantly knew that my friend basically gave her my Snapchat. I have no idea why my friend did this, so I remember going up to him later on saying, yo bro, like why'd you do that? He said, oh come on bro, like it's a hot girl, like when you ever gonna turn down a hot girl, bro? You're literally slaying these days. Bruh, that's the one girl I don't want to do because she's a homie hopper, is what I told him. But he didn't listen to me and he just walked away. I remember this girl was always trying to hit me up on Snapchat. She would message me randomly. She would end up sending me photos of her, well, and her cherries and peaches, trying to keep up with YouTube monetization. But overall, she knew I wasn't having any of it. So I remember later on in the week, basically I stopped hearing from her, and then I remember me and the guys were gonna all hang out together one time as like a ritual we do every Saturdays and go out and eat some wings. A reminder, this was literally just the boys kind of thing, you know, like when like the boys have like this like friend kind of ritual thing. Like for example, you play Call of Duty and play Search and Destroy at night, or for example, all the boys come over to your house and we all like, you know, kiss the homies goodnight. It was basically one of those kind of things. But I remember when we were all over at Going to Wings and we all sat down beside each other starting to eat, my friend was kind of late that really thought that the homie hopper was hot. So I remember we all messaged him and he's like, oh, like yeah, like I'm on my way right now guys, like sorry, I have to go pick up my girlfriend, she's gonna come join us. We all were confused and we're like, girlfriend? He has a girlfriend now? What? And trust me, I think we all know that feeling when like your most ugliest friend in the friend group has like a girlfriend. It's like really bizarre, but it just happened. Anyways, 10 minutes later, he ends up bringing this girl over to this place that we were all eating at, and we all saw him walking up to the table with the homie hopper, the girl that was literally
trying to get in my pants, bro. Out of nowhere, I saw this and I'm like, oh man, he didn't listen to me, knowing what was gonna happen. But I remember as they were walking to the table, this girl was staring me down like a hawk. Like she knew that she was gonna be at my table, ready to do the devil's tango with me. Now me, I have some respect and I do have, you know, the bro code in me. Like I will not, you know, go for a chick that my friend's dating, for sure not. Like no way, Jose. But the thing is that this chick was not really being with my friend because she liked him. It was more because she wanted to get closer to me so that I could realize how great of a girl she is. Funny enough, she's doing the exact thing that I did not like, which was homie hopping, but it was what it was. Anyways, all the boys were eating wings at the restaurant and we were all just basically talking about how in the world this relationship ended up happening. And he's like, oh, I don't know. In a way, I have to thank Bubba. He kind of like got us closer, I guess. What? Thank me? And then after that, the girl's like, oh yeah, like Bubba's so amazing. As he puts her hand on my shoulder going down my arm. And I'm like, yo, okay. You know what? Maybe I have to cut wings short is what I said because I didn't want to be there much longer. I remember we all ended up standing up and we basically like, you know, started to leave because, you know, we were basically done food anyway. I just didn't want to sit there awkwardly. But then for some reason, the girl's like, oh, like, why don't we all go to the park? I love the park is what the homie hopper said. And basically all the guys were kind of down to go to the park for some reason, but I just think it's because a girl said something and they all have to agree to it anyway. So in my mind, I'm like, fine, let's all go to the park. So we all drive over to the park and everyone drives in their own vehicles. But then once we got there, after half an hour of us playing around goofing off, my friend comes up to me saying, yo, bro, like my girl has to like basically go home in a little bit, but like I have to go home like right now. So like you don't mind driving my girl home, right? In my mind, I'm thinking, what? Are you serious? You're gonna let me drive your girl even though she wants me? But I didn't tell him that because I knew it was gonna be too awkward to say that. So I remember I was like, sure, like I'll just drive your girl home. Because there's no way I'm gonna tell this guy, yeah, your girl wants me and you're gonna let me drive her home. Like that's just weird. Anyway, I remember my homie ended up going home and he basically got in his car and drove away. And I legitimately saw him get in his car and go away. And when he did, bro, his girl was all over my eggplant, bro. It was not even funny. Like it was like non-stop pop. She was coming close to me. She was getting really close. It got to the point where my friends thought it was super awkward and weird. And I agreed. So I remember I'm like, you know what? Let's just all go home. Screw this. So I remember me and her, we ended up going into my blue car, my Toyota Silica, which I love very much, by the way. And I remember I literally sat in the car with her and we ended up about to leave the parking lot until she said, oh wait, I forgot something at the park. Can you just park right here? I just said, sure, like whatever, go pick it up real quick. So I ended up parking the car on the side of the park of like the road basically. And the girl is supposed to get out, but she didn't get out. She just ended up locking my doors and literally hopped on top of me, trying to get on top of me to do the devil's tango. Me, I started trying to push her off because I'm like, bro, like chill, bro. Like, no, you're not doing this right now, you know, because that's awkward as hell. But literally this girl would just not stop. And basically from there, I remember I saw a car coming down, but like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so awkward. It's gonna see this girl on top of me. Then the car instantly stops and all I see is headlights, and instantly coming up to my window, I hear a and I'm like, what? Who's that? And it was legit my homie, my friend that was dating this chick that originally told me to drive her home. I remember I looked at him like, bro, like what in the world is going on? And my friend was pissed. Like he was so mad. I remember he saw me. He opened my car door. He dragged me out of my own car. And he's like, what are you doing with my girlfriend? Like all pissed off and stuff with like a Hulk voice. I have no idea. I mean, I'm trying to tell him to calm the hell down because like I was trying to tell him the situation that was going on. And basically from there, I remember he started like really like getting pissed. So I remember I stood up and I'm like, man, I don't want to have to kick your butt, but I literally will if I have to. And this girl was like all freaking out saying like, no, like I never loved you. I loved Bubba. Like I just wanted him. And when that girl said that, oh my goodness, it was like the wrong thing to say. Cause I remember my buddy started looking at me and he looked over at the girl and he's like, go screw yourself, you homie hopper. And basically went to his car and was listening to Juice WRLD, blasting it and driving home. Me, I saw this girl trying to get back to my car as if I was going to still drive her home after the whole situation. But I told her, hell no. And I told her to walk herself home. And she lived like only like an hour away. So, I mean, an hour walk never hurts for a homie hopper, I guess. And from there, I basically drove myself home, went on Xbox with all the boys, and I told him the whole situation. He only wishes that I told him that, you know, the girl was only trying to get close to him to get closer to me. But to be honest, I can't do that for a friend. If my friend really liked a girl like that, why would I tell him the bad news in the beginning? I don't know. It's a really hard situation to address, but overall, I think a lot of us in high school would go through this situation, especially with a girl or a guy. So in my opinion, be safe out there and stay away from homie hoppers. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. So make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me on all social medias. And also join the Discord server like I said earlier. Anyways, guys, like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.
My name is Bubba. I'm still on top of the world. Never taken with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? let's click record. Got that TikTok with 2 mil, hit different with some more. She said she love me, she capped. Should I ask it for sure? I got 100K for my life's work, so my